Aloha and Happy New Year, everyone. And as we say in Hawaii, Hau'oli Makahiki Ho. And I even have a few little Japanese, little tiny karamatsu here for Japanese New Year. And this fan here, I guess this is about the colors and everything. Had a visitor from Japan over New Year's, and he brought great gifts of Japanese New Year. Let's let someone else in here. So anyway, welcome to Heart to Spirit Connections for January 2026, and I wish you all a really wonderful New Year. We are full into the energy of this year of conscious creation, or I call it compassionate creation. And that compassion begins with the self, of course. So let us dedicate our welcome, Diana. We are consciously creating compassionately for ourselves in this new year. Sorry, I'm getting a little rusty throat there. I want to say before we just begin, first let's just do an opening prayer and center for this webcast and into this new year. So everybody take a nice deep breath and know that prayer is not necessarily a religious act, that it is, as we know from the 10 principles of consciously creating, it is a way of stating our intention and expressing to the spirit world what our intention is here in our human experience. So as you take some nice deep breaths, as we do in our 5 breath self-healing meditation, draw the golden particles through your crown chakra. And when they come into the pineal gland and the signature cell in the center of your head, they change into white light and draw them down into your heart space. Lock the breath and weave the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies that you are together, and exhale out from your heart this beautiful white light of creation. And I call upon that creation of love and light, the Christ light, the goddess weave of love, and all the beautiful energies, our master guide Kirael, the master Kahu Fred Sterling, and the angels and the guides and the higher self of everyone here on the webcast with us live and those coming in later on the replay, to feel the energy of love coming together for this Heart to Spirit Connections webcast, our first one for the year 2026, a 1 year of creation. And we pray now to send our loving light back into our hearts and send it down through your feet and through your root chakra into Mother Earth, and to hold the core light of Mother Earth strong in our goddess knowing and our goddess light, and allow that love of Mother Earth to come back into our hearts so that we feel our connection to Mother Earth. And now send it out through your crown chakra to your higher self, and feel that bridge between earth and sky that you are. And we offer this from our hearts in love. Amen. So it's a very interesting time today because it is the 3rd of January 2026. And if you're following the astronomical or the astrological energies right now, we are in the full moon window, and that's called, that phase in our local way of counting the days of the moon is a hoku full moon. And that is the actual full moon phase. And we are in one that is really interesting because wherever you are tonight, go outside and watch the rise of the full moon, which will be very soon, if not before, right around sun, when the sun goes down. Look for the moon in the east, and there you will see the bright planet Jupiter right with the moon rising. So it should be a really beautiful sight because Jupiter is the second brightest planet that we could see. The other one is Venus, of course, and that one is in the underworld right now with the sun. So we could see the moon and Jupiter tonight, and that's an amplification. Jupiter, that planet in astrology anyway, is the amplification of that energy of the moon, which in the astrology that I practice and learn is an amplification of our lineage. Now, the moon is in the sign of Cancer right now. So this is a beautiful energy of knowing how to nurture the self and nurture our family, our communities, all of those around us, but understanding that we nurture ourselves first. So that is going to be amplified right now with this planet Jupiter, which is kind of like an amplifying planet because it's so big and energetic. And we'll also have, which is another interesting thing. Is there somebody coming in here? No. Okay. We also have the Earth is closest to the sun right now, and that's called perihedron. So, and then we also have the moon closest to the Earth, and that's a supermoon, right? So we have a super full moon with the Earth closest to the sun at perihedron. So you've got the sun, the earth, and the moon in alignment, but they're in a certain way that is really something that you don't ordinarily see. It's a very interesting configuration that kind of amps up all the energies, closest, the energy of the sun and the moon become a greater influence on our planet, which you're going to see, of course, physically in the tides. If you're near the seashore, will have larger than usual tides because the moon is closer to the earth. So all of this, you can see it play out in the greater world around us, and you can also see it play out in your own world. And so what does that mean? That means it's a great time to stay centered in your heart and in your goddess light. And remember that we are healing the self and healing the world thereby. By healing ourselves, we heal the planet and we heal everyone else around it, because this is about collective consciousness. So this first month of the year is very interesting, and I noted on January 1st that we had a 1, a 1, and a 1. So we had January is the first month, we had the first day of January, and the new year 2026 is a 1 energy. So the energy of creation is really high this month. And this is why I entitled this webcast today, Mastermind 2026, Consciously Create Your New Year. And I encourage you to use this energy and don't leave any, like we say, pukas, any holes in it, in the Hawaiian, puka is a hole. Don't leave any holes in your creation. Go and get have your vision, and we're going to talk about this later in our meditation. Create a vision for this new year. And I suggest you have your vision from here to the end of June or the beginning of July. So you take the first 6 months, which is a 6 is a number for mastery, right? So create in your vision, what are the things that you would like to do, like to see, like to feel, like to experience in these first 6 months, and kind of set them in your vision. It doesn't have to be exact. It just has to be in your mind, because your mind and your thoughts is how we consciously create. And so then you can set down your masterminds. And we're going to talk a little bit about masterminding today with the guidance of Master Guide Kirael, because the masterminding will now put your vision into words. And when you have the will and the word, it becomes very strong. And the guidance knows how to work with you in that case. So if you have your mastermind set down in words, it doesn't matter which language, could be in another language, besides English, set them down in words. And that is something that you can refer to as you go through these first 6 months. And then you get through pretty much through the first 6 months and you make your adjustments for the rest of the year. May have another vision session, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But what I've got here surrounding me today is also the books by Kahu Fred Sterling and Master Guide Kirael. And I have a special offer for you folks this month. So anybody who's buying from the Signature Cell Healing website a print book, a book that you can hold in your hand, and I will mail it to you. I will put in a CD, some kind of CD from Kahu Fred Sterling, Master Guide Kirael. I have a lot of them because Honolulu Church of Light closed at the end of November, and there were a lot of CDs in there. And we don't sell CDs anymore, so I'm giving them away. So I want to have an opportunity to put them in the package with your print book. So if you buy a print book this month, maybe longer, I will put at least one CD in there. And that's really great because they're wonderful sessions with Master Guide Kirael and Kahu. And you can hear me in my previous incarnations of being Karinna over many years. So, yeah, so I've got the books here. Of course, the 10 Principles of Consciously Creating by Master Guide Kirael is your textbook for conscious creation. And you can go through the 10 principles and you can read about that on my website. I have a special page just for the 10 principles, and I'll put that under the viewer in YouTube afterwards. So you can click and go directly to that page and learn about, truth, trust, and passion, clarity, communication, and completion, prayer, meditation, sleep safe programming, and masterminding, the 10 principles. And then, surprise, surprise, in this book, Kirael the Great Shift, there's a section in the back of the book that's just on masterminding. And it's a nice little introduction to masterminding that came before this book. And something that Master Guide Kirael shared with us before we put that book together. So before we get into that guidance from Master Kirael, I want to go to the Lemurian prophecy cards, which I have right here. And you can do this too. This is just a regular card deck. And you can use a regular card deck, and it's based on the Lemurian numerology and the 4 bodies of healing and signature cell healing. So the physical is the diamonds, so the 4 suits, right? The physical is the diamonds, the hearts is the emotional body, the clubs is the mental body, and the spades is the spiritual body, and the rest of the cards follow the numerologies mostly until you get to the face cards, but we'll talk about that. And you can learn more about the Lemurian prophecy cards in a reading. You can schedule that on my website, KarinnaNielsen.com, or you can take a signature cell healing online workshop and we learn how to do the Lemurian prophecy cards. Or if you want a private to learn the cards, I'm happy to do that for you too. So let's shuffle the cards, and we're going to shuffle them 5 times. Because 5 in the Lemurian numerology is the number for love. So we're going to put love into the cards. Okay, and now everybody send your light into the cards. Great, thank you. And then we're going to cut the cards. And we're going to see what we got. Wonderful. So we have the six of diamonds. So remember I told you that the this is really good for us, for everybody in the world. The diamonds is the physical body, so it's our physical experience. And the number six is the number for mastery. So it's a year, it's a month, just yeah, a month, a year for us to master our physical journey of being human on earth. So for each of us, that's going to have a completely different meaning. So everyone has a different physical or a journey, right? We all have individual healing journeys. And we're here on earth to master that journey because most of us that are watching this are not coming back. So, we might have had, and I hear you celebrating. Okay, I'm celebrating too. That, we've done incarnation after incarnation, and we knew that we were going to have. I'm just trying to see. I got a little message here, somebody in the chat. We knew that this was going to be most probably before we incarnated our last journey on Earth being human in the third dimensional sense, right? We might be back here in the fourth dimension, or we might be back here, in a different capacity, maybe in a guidance capacity or in the angelic realm, or we come back to help, people like me. So, yeah. In any case, is most probably the last human third dimensional experience for us. And so what do? We packed our blueprints full of everything we wanted to get done in all of our lifetimes. So we went to the bottom of the bucket, Master Kiriel used to say, and we really filled our blueprint with all these really challenging experiences, put all our karma in there because we knew we were going to get through it and we wouldn't have to come back anymore. And so that is why, if you're feeling incredible challenges, not just on the physical, but also on the emotional, the mental, the spiritual bodies, um, we have an opportunity in this lifetime. Because why? We also have the ability to come into groups like this and join with other goddess lights and other spiritualists that are also on the path, on the evolutionary path of healing. And we're all together. And that's what I want to talk about too, is when you are consciously creating your experience, you're going to be surprised if you release the limits of your thoughts on what you think is possible in this coming year. So when you have a vision, and I was speaking about this before, you create this vision of, what you want to do in January, what do I want to do in February, what do I want to do, and you might say, well, Karinna, I can't possibly know. But you can. See, this is about not leaving it empty and leaving it up to chance. You consciously create it. And when you do, and you release the limits of what you think is possible, like for example, let's take a relationship. You're in a relationship that you think this is hopeless. I'm never going to get along with this person. It's just too hard. What if you could release that and just believe and vision yourself really in love with that person, or at the very minimum getting along with them? If it's a family member, or it's like, somebody in your life you really can't get away from. That's the thing. Friends, you can, people that bother you, maybe a checker at the supermarket, you can go to another supermarket, right? But I bet every checker you're going to find might be reflecting that same thing to you. So you're going to bring it up in your life somewhere else. So we do need to deal with these things by consciously creating. So how about a mastermind statement that says, I create and I have wonderful relationships, balanced relationships, loving relationships in my life with everyone. Or you can name the person, you can be really specific. I was going through, I told you that every year I create this mastermind, a list of masterminds for myself. And it comes out to be there's about 40, 50 of them, and it goes on to 2 pages. So I was reviewing the ones from 2025 and I was just crossing them off. There were a whole bunch of them that actually, I mean, they really happened. And I was so happy. Things that I've been masterminding for a long time. Like, well, I'll give you one example. For a long time we wanted to have solar on our house, and we couldn't afford it. I mean, there were all these reasons why we couldn't do it. It wasn't happening. I'm telling you, it went about 10 years. And last year it happened. And this time last year, we turned on our solar system for the first time. So last year in 2025 was our first year on completely on solar. And it happened. So I'm crossing that one off of my list. I'm going, I've been masterminding this for about 5 to 10 years. And there were other ones about, things, bringing things to completion, because that was a completion year. So you have an opportunity when you create these mastermind statements now, and you don't have to do 45, 50 of them. Do 3. I tell you, start with 3 really good mastermind statements. And if you want to email them to me, Karinna at KarinnaNielsen.com, I will keep them in confidence, and I will feed back to you on how you might just make them a little bit better or tune them up a little bit. Yeah, because then you have something that the universe can respond to. So I'm talking about the whole entourage of guidance that is with you in this lifetime. And you might not be able to see them with your physical eyes, but you can feel them and just know that they are with you, waiting to light up your path. They can't like hand you the mastermind. That's your journey. What they do is they light the path. But if you don't have a defined path, how are they going to help you? So this is why we call this program Heart to Spirit Connections, because we're looking at the ways that we can better connect our hearts and our desires with our spirit guidance. And there's nothing that says we can't have what we desire from our hearts in love. Who told you can't have that stuff, Somebody guaranteed in all our lives said, "Oh, you're too this, you can't have that," or "You're from there, you can't have that." Well, I'm here to just wipe all that away, and you just look at your life as unlimited potential. And I pray that you will do that, and believe that when you have that clear focus of intention, your guidance will come and help you with it. And just keep doing the journey. Just keep taking another step. And then the next step will appear to you. But we've got to move forward towards something. And it helps to have something defined, right? So I've been talking for a while, so I'm going to ask if you have any questions. I'm really passionate about this particular year, because I know it's going to be a wonderful year of creation. The potentials are open for all of us to create a great shift of love consciousness on this planet. And if you're looking at the mainstream media, or you're looking at, whatever's happening in the third dimensional world, you'll not notice what's happening with the light workers around the planet, and with the energy of love that is rising. And that you won't see on your evening news very often, but you'll see it and you'll feel it in your meditations and your connections to your spirit guidance, So you've got to get out of this third dimensional world and look back from a higher perspective and see the love that's surrounding this planet right now. Anyway, any questions on that? Um, oh, okay. So Diana is here with us from Germany, and it's late there, yes. But thank you for joining us anyway. Yeah, please, Mary Faith, go ahead. Here, unmute.
When you're making the statements, do you make them in the present tense like it's already happened? Like, I do not spend hours every day worrying.
Yeah, I think what you want to do is two things from that. Is first of all, you put it in the present tense and you put it in a positive light as if you already have it and say, instead of I do not, what do you do? So, for example, I spend, what did you say? Every
I said
day?
hours. I said hours
Hours.
a day.
Okay, I spend hours um, celebrating, or I spend hours, whatever you
Meditating.
want to spend
Yeah.
hours doing, right? So you're spending the hours worrying, but if you didn't spend those hours worrying, what would you be doing? And that I would put in the mastermind
Okay.
because your focus becomes what you want and not what you don't want.
Okay. What you want and what you don't want. Thank you.
Right. Oh, it was too late to watch the moon rising. Oh, okay, Deanna, you watch it tomorrow. Okay, I want to read you this excerpt from Kiriel the Great Shift. And if you don't have this book, this is like the really important book to have because it covers all the topics of the great shift in consciousness, that you photon energy, galactic intervention. I mean, it's got everything. So this is on the webcast webpage about about Master Kirael and what he says in this particular excerpt about masterminding, and this will probably help you too, Mary Faith, in this thing. And it's in the back of the book on 191 and 192. So this is I've just kind of edited it just a little bit for length. So the first step in creating a mastermind is to arrive at the clarity of what it is you desire in your life. This may appear to be a simple task, but for some, often on the subconscious level, the lack of clarity in thought is a way to maintain a sense of safety. Frequently, the distance that is created between your desire and your fulfillment is your fear of change. So the lack of clarity creates, kind of a safe place where I don't have to change anything. And, and then I can complain that I don't have this, right? But
Right,
if you
right,
got
right.
clarity on what you want, you would actually have an opening, to that, whatever it is you desire. So he goes on, once you have achieved the clarity of thought, you need to formulate it into a statement and express it in the now. This is important to remember because in the past, you may have made a wish and continually repeated the desire in such a way to have it become a reality in your future. So, you're putting it in front of you saying, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And you kind of get into that if you're making resolutions. That's really the difference between masterminds and New Year's resolutions. So you putting it now and you're energizing it in the now and you're energizing your belief that you deserve it, number one. You can do it, number two, and you have it. And that is, call it a trick if you want to, but that's the way that you align the energies to conscious creation, right? You consciously create in the now, not ahead of you or behind you. And that's the PowerPoint. And a lot of people have always talked about that power of now. Um, then the next step is masterminding with like-minded individuals who are willing to become passionately involved in holding your vision of clarity. By collectively focusing on the desire on the desired thought, it will manifest in the now as opposed to in the future. So that's just an excerpt from Cure the Great Shift. But let me talk about that because masterminding, you need to have another, let's say, entity with you. That's what creates a mastermind. So there's a mastermind statement that you make, but there's also a mastermind group. And oftentimes, Master Kirael, in the sessions we've had with him, he just calls everything masterminding or a mastermind. But when you have your mastermind statement and you mastermind with another person, or I've even heard him talk about masterminding with your guidance. So if you don't have somebody else that you feel comfortable doing this with, and there are a lot of spiritualists that are living on their own, and that's why I like this program because we can all connect in one way. Mastermind, you can mastermind with your guidance and, you know, read it in your meditation and put it out there. The important thing and why it's so great to have a mastermind group, at least one other person, is the other person provides you with the clarity. So I read my mastermind statement, but the other person says, well, what do you mean by that? And it really helps, to get that reflection of clarity or lack of clarity, because in order to have a mastermind statement or a mastermind group, you need to go through the other 9 principles in order to tune or hone that mastermind statement. So you can create a mastermind statement, but at some point, if you really want it, you're going to weave the other 9 principles into this statement. So you're going to read it. We talked about this before. You're going to read it, and then you're going to say, what is the truth about that statement? And do I trust this? Do I have a passion for this? What's the clarity? Am I completely clear about this statement? And what is my higher self communicating to me about this? Do I see a completion of this mastermind statement? And you take it into your prayers and into your meditations, and you even use sleep state programming, which, get the book if you don't know what sleep state programming is, because I don't have time to explain it right now. And you weave that into it as well. And there you've got your conscious creation. So, you know, maybe I'm making it sound a little complicated, but just know that the tools are there for you to have what you want if you really want it, right? All right, so let's take a break, and if you have any questions, I will answer them now. Did that completely muddle everything? I like Master Kuro's guidance on that, though. That is a beautiful way to understand masterminding. And what I can suggest is going back to the first part, get your vision right for the first 6 months of the year. And, just kind of, gently in meditation, start to, see what you desire. You can even go to the end of the year if you really have that clarity. And then I'll get you in a minute. And then create your mastermind statements and go back over them and ask yourself, is it in the present tense? Is it something that I want, or am I saying something I don't want? And how could I change it? So you can tune up your own mastermind statements. Okay, Mahina Ku, let's take a question.
I really, really liked that you shared that you can have the mastermind with your guidance. And because your guidance understands your clarity, probably more than everyday people, then it kind of allows them, as you request, to help you with putting it better in words. So I think that there's a lot of potential to strengthen your relationship with your guidance through this. And I don't know that before this time I had that glimmer of thought about it. So I wanted to thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for mentioning that. Yeah, I rattle on, but it helps to know what resonates with people that I'm saying actually. So thank you. And just about that, in this book, I don't have it here, Guide to the Unseen Self. You know, Master Guy Kirael at some point said, your higher self is doing a lot of things, right? It's not just connected to you unless you demand your higher self's attention. And you can do that. You could do that. You could create your mastermind and say, higher self, look, I'm serious about this and I'm looking for your guidance about this, and I'm going to do meditation and listen and write, maybe do an automatic writing or write out something that's your guidance. Because if you don't do that, if you don't actually participate and do meditations or do your 5 breath self-healing meditation, your higher self has got better things to do. Maybe it's got another aspect in the Pleiades or something like that, and it's going to go and take care of that other aspect of you. So, I mean, demand is kind of a strong word, but just show your higher self in your guidance that you desire a better connection, and that you desire their participation with you. Otherwise, they're perfectly happy, especially the higher self is perfectly happy that you can have this kind of, like we call it, maybe you're fumbling along through life. That's an experience for the higher self too. They don't care. So you tell the higher self what you want. The higher self doesn't necessarily want what you want. Maybe they're happy with whatever happens. So you consciously create. So this is a little bit of taking responsibility for our lives, right? And thankfully, Master Guy Kiriel and Kahu created or brought back from Lemuria, actually, because these are the Lemurian tools of evolution, brought those back to us so we can use them now in our evolutionary great shift. Yeah. So we're coming to a time when we need to do we have time to do a meditation. So I want everybody to just get comfortable and just begin to breathe as we do in the 5 breath self-healing meditation. And just invite those golden particles of photon light through your crown chakra. And as you breathe in through your nose, feel those particles come through the pineal gland in the center of your head with the signature cell and your blueprint, and draw them down into your heart chakra. And that's where we lock the breath and exhale through the mouth and allow the white light to come out from your heart now. And just as you breathe, just feel your heart expanding. And you, with every breath, are centered in this growing, expanding energy of white healing light. And it's permeating all of the cells, all of your 70 trillion cells in your physical body. Bring it out through your emotional body, and then bring it out through your mental body and your spiritual body until you have created this bubble of light surrounding you. And it's a nurturing, healing light. It's a light of consciously creating whatever you desire in your life. So now send a light out from your heart, out in front of you. And when you do, you're going to notice that there's a door in front of you. And on the door, it says 2026. So in your mind's eye now, in your bubble of light, reach out and open the door and step through into this new year of 2026. And with anything, anytime we enter a new room, it's always a little bit dark and we can't actually see what's in the room. So as you close the door behind you, just start to let your energy or your eyes or your third eye adjust to what's in this room. And as you do, you know that you can consciously create it. So see in your mind's eye now, and as you're in this new room, start to put into this room what it is you desire for yourself. See yourself in this new room in a healthy state on all four bodies. So see yourself happy and healthy, and put into this room the things that you desire from your heart, whether it's a new place to live, see that in your mind's eye, or a new vehicle to get you around, a new car or whatever. Put the things into this room that you desire. See your family there, everybody happy. See your friends in there. Whatever you desire from your heart for yourself in this new year. And if a thought comes up about something you don't want, open the door and kick it out. Put any kind of negative thoughts back out the door, close it again, and just focus this 2026 new room in a positive light, loving light, and know as you sit down now on a nice sofa or a nice chair there in that room, and just know anything's possible. There are no limits unless you want to put them there, and you deserve it. So do it in love for you. It's a vision that you can use to create your mastermind statements. So as we bring this meditation to a close, you're going to see yourself sitting in that room. You're not coming out of the room because we're in it now. And this is your new year that you're creating. You can come back into this meditation and create more in the room if you like. Look out the window. What do we see out there? We see world peace. We see Mother Earth at peace and in love. We can see maybe children playing or whatever we desire in the world in general. You can see out the windows and surrounding ourselves in this loving light, seeing our Mother Earth and everyone on her in peace and love, discovering what it means to be in love. And gradually now, as we bring the meditation to completion, begin to feel yourself sitting in your chair where you began, and slowly, slowly bring the energy back down through your spiritual, your mental, your emotional body into the physical, and just feel the energies of your physical body sitting here where we began. And so it is in love. Okay, so that would be a beautiful meditation that you can use anytime you're preparing your mastermind statements. So if you want to get clarity of vision that way, and I can also suggest that you invite your guidance in to that room and call your higher self in, call your spirit guidance in, and say, "This is my vision." This is what I want. Let me show you that. Yeah, and consciously create a life and a journey of peace and love and what you want to consciously create in this new year. Um, yeah, so if you have any shares, please let me know. I just want to remind you that um, if you're a graduate of Signature Cell Healing Workshop, either in person or online, you could please email me at Karinna@signaturecellhealing.com about our monthly graduates review classes every third Saturday. And we'd love to have you join us. And I can tell you more about that if you send an email about it. We have a wonderful group of goddesses that meet every third Saturday. And also, our next global healing meditation for Mother Earth will be again this month, but on the 30th of January, because we had our meditation on the 1st of January this past week, which was great in advance of the energies of this full moon. And then our next Heart to Spirit Connections webcast will be on Saturday, February 7th, first Saturday of the month. So do we have any final comments or shares before? I hope that meditation worked for you and what we've done here, and you can use it to consciously create your 2026 journey. I appreciate your presence here with me, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Aloha and happy New Year, everyone, from Lemuria.